Welcome back, and let's have a look at an example of the running of a CorDapp. Now, we don't have a certificate here, and we don't have an actual Corda node. However, though, we can go through a simulation. So what we'll do for this lesson is we will have a demonstration of the running of a CorDapp. This will be running it without a user interface. It'll be more of a command line type of a demonstration, but it still is a demonstration where we will be able to see the participants, the borrowers, the lenders in the transactions. So let's have a look here at a video where a CorDapp is actually run.
Let's give it a run. First, before we can run our CorDapp, we need to deploy our CorDapp. And what we're going to do is use a task called deploy nodes that will automatically create a local test network of nodes that we can run the CorDapp on. So if we open up the build.gradle file here, we've got this deploy nodes Java task. And this is a task that will basically build a local network of nodes in this build/nodes folder. You define each of the nodes using this syntax here, so a new node, and then you provide their name. They're a notary, you specify the type of the notary, you give them a P2P port for messaging between nodes. And then for the nodes that are non-notary nodes, we're also going to give some RPC ports. So RPC is how the node owner would speak to their node. We'd list the CorDapps here. We'd provide some RPC users who can log in and perform actions, i.e. run flows on the node. So we've got a party A here in London on messaging on port 10,003 and available to connect to via RPC on port 10,004. We've got a party B, etc., party C. And so we're going to run this task. It's going to create a bunch of nodes configured to run together on our local machine. So I'm just going to open up the command line here. So I'm just going to move to where the bootcamp CorDapp folder is. And here I'm just going to do run gradle clean deploy nodes Java. So Gradle is our build system when you're using this build system to run our deploy nodes task. So it takes a little while, but we can go and look at the outputs once they're done. So here we're creating 4 directories, one for each node. So a notary node, party A node, party C node, and party B node. And we can go and inspect what that looks like. So you can see each of the folders here. And a Corda node is actually relatively simple. It's just the Corda software, a Corda jar, that we run using java-jar corda.jar. So that's the actual Corda software. There's a CorDapps folder that will hold all the CorDapps we have installed on our node. Those are still being generated. Oh, there you go. So there we can see our bootcamp CorDapps being installed on our node. And a CorDapp is just a set of classes, and all the classes in the CorDapp will be loaded onto the class path of the node at runtime. It's really no more complicated than that. Then we're running in dev mode here, so we have some dev certificates. We have our logs, and we have a node configuration file. So here's all the information about the node. We also have this persistence.mv file, so this is the database file used by the node, and it will store all the transactions, the states, etc. So now we can run our nodes using this script run nodes here. So I'll just do build/nodes/run nodes. And we're just starting up the nodes here. So here we can see this is the notary here starting up. Then we've got party A starting up, party C starting up, and party B starting up. So again, we're starting up a full node, we're initializing a lot of things, so it takes a little while. But once they're live, we'll have access to something called the node shell. We can actually start to interact with our node. There we go. So now our node is live. And now our nodes are stood up. We can interact with them. So one thing we can do is look at all the flows available on our node. So here we can see our token issue flow, as well as the example flow we provided for you. And if we do flow start token issue flow, there you can see it's asking for an owner and an amount. And so running a flow is as simple here as going token issue flow and just providing an owner, perhaps party B, and an amount, let's say 99. And here we're just running this from the command line. In practice, you'd connect to the node via RPC, and then you'd layer a kind of a UI on top of that, provide a server for interacting directly with your node. But this shell is a great way just to see your nodes are working. So let's kick off this flow. So that flow's done now. And to actually see the output, we're going to run another command, which will be vault query. This is just to look at the contents of our vault, look at the states we have stored. And here I have to pass in a contract state type. I'm just going to pass in the state type we defined earlier, which was token state. And there you go. So it's not the prettiest interface, but here you can see our transaction and the states. And so here we have a state, and we've got the issuer, party A, the owner, party B, the amount, the participants. So remember that the participants are the people who would store this transaction, so party A and party B. It's governed by this contract, token contract. It's got this notary, and so on and so on. So various pieces of information there. Now, this was issued to party B. So if I go to party B now, I can run the same thing. So I can run vault query, contract state type, java bootcamp.token state. And here I can see the exact same information. So an issuer, party A, an owner, party B, an amount, 99, etc. So this is that blockchain guarantee that both participants see the same data. But importantly, Corda is a privacy-first platform, and so this was just an agreement between party A and party B. It had nothing to do with party C. And now if I go to party C and I run the same thing, well, what we'll see is that they weren't involved in the transaction, and so they don't actually get to see these tokens. And there you go. So even though party A, B, and C are all on the same network, only party A and B have been involved in that transaction, so only they've seen the states involved in that transaction. Party C on the same network hasn't seen anything.
Well, this brings us to the end of our Corda Bootcamp, and hopefully you've learned a lot about how Corda differs from traditional blockchain applications. It allows digital assets to be traded and legal agreements to be struck between legally identifiable counterparties rather than anonymous public keys. It also distributes data on the need-to-know basis rather than sharing confidential information with the entire network. Corda integrates with existing tooling and provides a flow framework to easily automate complex business processes. You should now understand how to build applications or CorDapps that run on top of the Corda platform. Our CorDapp addressed an IOU issuance use case, but CorDapps can be built to handle anything from energy trading to healthcare, any type of asset.
Stay tuned for our next video where I will explain about the lab environment.